Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Cowboy Bebop. Last time on Cowboy Bebop, we had Stray Dog Strut, where basically Spike and Jet went to Mars, and they learned about a fugitive, Abdul Hakim, and he had some valuable treasure with him. So Spike went after him, and they figured out that the treasure was a dog, a corgi specifically, but later they learned it was a data dog, which we talked about what that meant. However, I cannot remember since last week, so that's alright. But basically, there was a whole chase. They were able to defeat Hakim, and he landed right in front of the police, and then Spike kept the dog. And that was pretty much it. Not sure if he really got any money for that. He's not turning in the dog to anyone. So, yeah, we just now have a dog on board. So, all right. But yeah, that was pretty much that. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this session of Cowboy Bebop. Here we go. Alrighty. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Okay, kind of setting up, what honestly feels like a rival that could come back, you know? Yeah, very, very interesting, because, the first two episodes, what the hell was the first episode? It was the Red Eye guy. And then last episode with Hakim, they're both just kind of out. I don't expect them to come back at all. But Faye Valentine? Yeah, I could see it. So, alrighty. I want to look up the voices, though. Alright. Cowboy Bebop, episode 3. Hold on. Wendy Lee. Wendy Lee voices Faye Valentine. And I should go ahead and say that, from the marketing or whatever, just the images that they have on Netflix when you go to Cowboy Bebop, it shows whatever looks like kind of a police lineup. I'm pretty sure Faye Valentine is one of them, so I do kind of suspect she's going to come back at some point, so... but let's see here. Oh, hey. Interesting. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as Lisa. That's pretty cool. That seems to be all I know. Oh, yeah. That seems to be all I know, but Lisa, that's pretty cool. Jameson Price? I'm pretty sure that's who I think that is. Yep, I was completely right. Gordon in this episode is played by the guy who voices Jelly Jiggler in Bobobo, as well as the Count of Monte Cristo in Gankutsuo. Do I recognize him from anything else? Doesn't look like it, but alright. That's pretty cool, though. Oh, God. There's a bit of thunder going on outside. That's alright. Alrighty. So, another interesting one. I will say, when we get to the end of these episodes, they're all so great and so fun. I don't write down a lot, which is interesting, And I will say that at least so far, the stories have been very similar. And I don't want to sound that to be a detriment to this, because they're all still enjoyable. But, the first episode is... there's a guy, there's a bounty on him, Spike chases him, there's a little fight, some tussles, some chasing, and then the guy dies at the end. Last episode is very much the same, but you throw in the dog. This episode is the same, but you throw in Faye Valentine. So I guess they are, they're doing something new each time, but yeah, it's just very interesting. Very, very interesting stuff, But they are sort of, I don't want to say formulaic or anything, because that sounds terrible, but they are interesting, to say the least. Now, I also wanted to look up what they called the dog. They gave him a name. Let me see.
Come on, Ein, let's go.
All right, Ein. That's interesting. I'll write that down just so I try to remember that. Ein. All right. So, but yeah, still interesting stuff. So, again, I have this strong suspicion that Faye Valentine will be coming back, you know? But yeah, but a very interesting character. And I like how, you know, what does differentiate this episode from the previous two episodes is that they don't really, it doesn't start out the same way. It's really just that Spike happens to fall into this trouble instead of, you know, going and trying to collect the bounty specifically, because that was what the last two episodes were. Is he was going after someone specifically that he saw on the bounty list, basically. Whereas this time they were just going to go to the casino, which is interesting. So they're short on cash, so they went to the casino to try to get some more money, which is an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. There's also just the idea of maybe you should complete your bounties every once in a while. Like, okay, the first episode I get, but last time, like, I guess so Spike doesn't get any credit for Hakeem, and then they just don't turn in the dog, apparently. You know? They don't turn in Ein. They keep him. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting that now their next thought is, well, let's just go to the casino. Of which still, they kind of walked away without anything. There's something in my eye, and it's driving me nuts. And because of that, now my other eye itches. Alright. So, yeah. But I like how, now there's something in my other eye. God damn it. But I like how it's basically they just fall into trouble at the casino. But yeah, there's this whole thing with this chip and this guy who looks enough like Spike, but not fully. And then, yeah, he just gets into all sorts of trouble with Faye Valentine. I love that he just kept swallowing stuff in this. That sounds terrible, but, I mean, that's what he was doing, you know? He swallowed a cigarette, which was crazy, and then he swallowed the chip. And then just was able to regurgitate it without any issue later. Like, ugh, jeez. But yeah, you know, I'm not really gonna, like, bog down too much on the technicals of some of this stuff. Like, and when I say that, I mean, you know, like, oh, the whole, you know, what is a data dog and all that sort of stuff. And now the whole thing with the chip. Because honestly, now it doesn't really matter anymore. So, but the whole thing with the chip, that was interesting. That it was some sort of, like, crazy, you know, it had some crazy microchip in it to where you could, you know, unlock any door, you know, it, like, from what it sounds like, it would be great, you know, in, like, heists or something like that. So that was interesting. But you have to have a specific decryption for it. So, yeah. We also did learn that that Jet used to be Special Forces, which is interesting. So I like that. I like how you get, you know, sort of just tiny hints of their backstories, you know? Because, yeah, we don't know how the two of them became bounty hunters, you know? Of course, I say two of them. It was honestly it's really just Spike, and, you know, Jet's there, ships him around, cooks his food, you know? But yeah, so that's all pretty interesting. And then we had the exchange. I did love that that whole sequence out in space. You know, that was really interesting. And just going and, you know, just, I mean, it's got to be one of the scariest things. Like, anytime there's, like, a movie where they're, like, you know, doing a spacewalk or something, and it's like they jump and they're literally almost scrambling to, like, hold on. It's like, ugh, jeez. You know, it's absolutely terrifying because, yeah, one misstep and you're just off. And that's almost just it, you know? Like, that, it's absolutely terrifying to me, you know? So, yeah. But I like how they used it here. It reminds me a bit, to sort of call back to another anime that I've watched on the channel, Star Wars Visions is an anime I reacted to recently, where they kind of did the same thing, or a similar thing. They had a lightsaber fight like on the outside of a ship without spacesuits. Now that I think about it, that was kind of weird. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was the Twins episode. But yeah, so yeah, but I like this, and this kind of reminds me too of like Star Trek First Contact, where they're out on the ship and there's like the Borg and stuff like that. But that was really cool, just this whole sequence outside in space, jumping around, Spike using the presumably magnetic boots to his advantage, and then yeah, just down to doing this whole thing, beating them, and then he just grabs the chip from where he threw it. He didn't even have to do that because he was already going to jump away when they weren't looking. He could have just kept the chip, but nope. No, he had to be a little extra. Spike has to be a little extra, and that's all right. But then Faye just swoops in and steals the money and takes off, and then kills Gordon too. So presumably her debts are gone. And she has money. So, but I like that moment there when Spike says, she outsmarted me again, And it's like, yeah, I like that she can sort of be a rival. Because, like, the last two guys we've had, they haven't really been rivals to him. Like, it's been challenges to go and, defeat them or stop them or whatever. But I like that we didn't really, we didn't win in the sense that we didn't, what am I trying to say here? We didn't win in the sense that, oh, well, we stopped the bad guy, I guess. We stopped Gordon, but at the same time, Faye got away. It was sort of a draw, basically. But I like that. I like how that basically sets up this sort of, I could see a continuing rivalry between Spike and Faye. So, yeah. So all that was really, really interesting. And, yeah. I guess that's pretty much it. Another good episode. Really, really enjoyed it. And a good character with Faye Valentine. And very curious to see where we are going to go from here. Are we going to get more of her in the next episode? Maybe, maybe not. We'll just have to see. But yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my Cowboy Bebop reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.